May 8, 1945. Dawn breaks over a muddy field near the Rhine River, in the shattered heart of the Ruhr pocket. Rain slicks the ground, turning it into a quagmire where thousands of German soldiers and auxiliaries huddle in surrender. Among them, young women in soaked gray uniforms, skirts hemmed above the knee, insignia of the Wehrmachthelferinnen stitched on collars, clutch ration tins and photographs from home. Helga Müller, 19, from Berlin, wipes mud from her boots, her hands trembling not from cold alone. These women, once heralded as the backbone of the home front, now face American GIs with leveled rifles. Jeeps rumble forward, engines growling like distant thunder. "Hands up! Schnell!" barks a sergeant. The auxiliaries raise arms, eagles and swastikas on their sleeves, catching the pale light. Loaded onto trucks, they bounce toward makeshift camps, barbed wire glinting under floodlights. Whispers ripple. "What now? Will they shoot us?" Exhaust fumes mix with the scent of wet wool. As the convoy crosses the river, bridges scarred by bombs, the women glimpse burning villages. Their war ends here, but a deeper unraveling awaits. In the camps, uniforms will feed the flames, stripping away the last threads of a regime that promised glory. The convoy halts at dusk, gates clanging shut behind barbed wire in a vast enclosure near Rheinberg, one of the Rhine Meadow camps hastily erected by the U.S. Ninth Army. Floodlights pierce the twilight, illuminating rows of tents pitched on churned earth. Over 1 million German prisoners stream in during April and May 1945, a human tide from the Ruhr encirclement. Operation Plunder's final squeeze. Among them, 20,000 women auxiliaries, aged 17 to 30, their gray-blue skirts and blouses marking them as Wehrmachthelferinnen, the female helpers who freed men for combat. This moment traces back to 1939, when Nazi Germany mobilized for total war. Labor shortages gnawed at the Reich as blitzkrieg victories demanded ever more soldiers. Women, long confined to Kinder, Küche, Kirche, children, kitchen, church, faced new calls. The Reich Labor Service drafted girls into farms and factories, but the Wehrmacht eyed them for desks and switchboards. By 1941, voluntary enlistments began for the Nachrichtenhelferinnen, signals auxiliaries trained in Berlin's elite schools. Propaganda reels showed smiling blondes in crisp uniforms, headphones on, routing orders that crushed Poland and France. Escalation came with Barbarossa in June 1941. The Eastern Front devoured divisions, pulling clerks from rear echelon. Hitler resisted arming women, but necessity overrode ideology. In 1942, the Luftwaffe integrated flak Helferinnen, anti-aircraft helpers, spotting Allied bombers over cities. Girls manned searchlights and predictors, calculating trajectories for 80 mm guns that shredded formation. By 1943, over 100,000 served, their roles expanding to radar stations along the Atlantic Wall. Recruitment turned coercive. Schools funneled graduates into 6-month courses, Morse code at Julini Camp, telephony in Munich. Pay-matched male privates, 85 Reichsmarks monthly, plus rations and leave. Uniforms arrived tailored, wool skirts, eagle-capped berets, swastika armbands. They typed invasion plans, relayed U-boat sightings, plotted convoys for destruction. In occupied territories, some oversaw forced laborers, blind to the cruelty. Yet cracks emerged. Stalingrad's fall in February 1943 shattered invincibility myths. Bombers darkened skies. Dresden's firestorm in February 1945 incinerated 25,000. Women auxiliaries tasted defeat firsthand, evacuating offices amid rubble, dodging shrapnel in bunkers. By early 1945, the Reich teetered on collapse. Allied armies pierced borders, Soviets from the east, Americans and British from the west. Operation Varsity in March parachuted 16,000 troops across the Rhine, sealing the Ruhr industrial heartland. Factories that once armed panzer divisions now smoldered under Lancaster bombs. Women auxiliaries, scattered across flak towers and command posts, received frantic orders: hold positions, destroy documents, prepare for evacuation. In Berlin, the Führerbunker echoed with desperation. Hitler decreed total mobilization. Volkssturm conscripted boys and elders, while women faced extended service. Over 500,000 Wehrmachthelferinnen now staffed every theater, decoding Enigma intercepts in Norway, manning coastal radars in France, directing night fighters over Hamburg. Their efficiency prolonged resistance. One unit in Arnhem relayed positions that ambushed Market Garden paratroopers in September 1944. Surrenders mounted. In April, the Ruhr Pocket trapped Army Group B, 300,000 troops under Model, who shot himself on April 21st. Women emerged from bunkers, hands raised, amid 317,000 captives. U.S. 1st and 9th Armies processed them in open fields. Rheinberg, Remagen, Sinzig. Tents housed 10,000 each. Latrines overflowed, rations skimmed to 1,000 calories daily. Geneva Convention protections applied. Women segregated, guarded by military police, not frontline infantry. British camps in Belgium and England awaited transfers. Devises camp in Wiltshire held thousands. Shipped via Ostend. Interrogations began. Unit? Duties? Party membership? Most claimed clerical roles, denying SS affiliations. Yet evidence surfaced. Photos of auxiliaries at concentration camp perimeters, though rare. As VE Day neared on May 8th, unconditional surrender flooded camps. Women penned letters home on scraps, unaware of the psychological storm ahead. Allied re-education programs loomed. Films of Bergen-Belsen, Dachau liberation. Yet captivity strips illusions. Diarrhea from tainted water weakens bodies. Lice infest seams. Erica clutches a locket photo of her fiancé, lost at Kursk. Whispers share stories. A signals operator from Vienna, who intercepted RAF frequencies, saving flak batteries. Another from Munich, pregnant by a superior, now hiding her swell under a coat. Over 100,000 such auxiliaries were mothers, daughters, sisters, average age 21, many Volksdeutsche from annexed lands. They sang marches at roll call, voices cracking. Allied guards note their discipline. No riots, precise salutes. But nights bring sobs, homes bombed, families scattered in refugee treks. Tactical contributions linger in memory. These women formed the nervous system of defense. In the Battle of the Bulge, December 1944, Helferinnen at Ardennes HQs relayed panzer movements, delaying Allied probes. Their absence would have crippled logistics. One report credits them with handling 40% of Wehrmacht communications by war's end. Technological prowess defined their service. Perched in concrete flak towers like Berlin's Zoo Tower, Helferinnen operated Würzburg radars, dish antennas sweeping skies at 50 kilometers range. Fingers danced over consoles, plotting blips from mosquito pathfinders. By 1944, women crewed 50% of Luftwaffe early warning nets, feeding data to Me-262 jets scrambling from Aachemer. In the West, they calibrated Freya sets along the Siegfried Line, detecting B-17 formations hours out. One unit near Cologne downed 12 bombers in a night. Voices calm over headsets, bandits at 20,000 feet, bearing 270. Allied jammers evolved, window foil clouds. But German women adapted, refining filters that pierced chaff. Leadership imposed unwavering loyalty, yet moral fissures widened. Gauleiters like Goebbels broadcast appeals. German women, to the front. Hitler praised them in directives, banning makeup to maintain Aryan severity. Officers drilled obedience. Refusal meant labor camps. Some rose to Unterführerin, overseeing 50 girls with iron discipline. Indoctrination films glorified sacrifice, masking atrocities. But whispers of special actions in the East reached signals posts, coded messages hinting at Einsatzgruppen. A few defected, smuggling Jews in Amsterdam offices. Most clung to denial. We only typed orders. Captivity, forced confrontation. Intense debates raged under blanket. Had the Führer betrayed them? Uniforms, sewn with Reichsadler, now felt like shackles. Dawn mist clings to the camp at Rheinberg on May 15, 1945, 1 week after VE Day. Loudspeakers crackle, summoning the women's compound to the central yard. American MPs in crisp olive drab herd 2,000 auxiliaries into formation, rows of gray uniforms dulled by mud. A projector hums to life against a white bedsheet screen, rigged between tent poles. The film rolls, Atrocities in the Concentration Camps, compiled from Signal Corps footage shot at Buchenwald and Ohrdruf. Grainy images flicker, emaciated prisoners behind wire, bulldozers pushing corpses into pits, gas chambers at Dachau, lampshades of human skin. Narrated in clipped English, translated haltingly by a German-speaking GI. These are the crimes of your leaders. Gasps ripple through the ranks. A 22-year-old from Hamburg, Grete Klein, covers her mouth. Her unit had relayed train schedules to Auschwitz in 1944, dismissed as resettlement. Another, a radar operator from Kiel, recognizes SS guards from shared canteens. Hands clasp, knees buckle. No one cheers the victories now. Interrogators follow, pulling aside suspected overseers. Questionnaires probe. Did you witness executions? Sign death lists? Most deny, but diaries confiscated reveal doubts. Entries from 1944 noting rumors from the East. Allied policy demands denazification. Uniforms harbor lice and ideology. Captain John Groves, camp commandant, orders preparation. Strip the symbols. Piles accumulate. Belts, caps, armbands. The women sew civilian patches over swastikas, but fabric runs short. By noon, the yard clears for the ritual. Barrels line up, filled with diesel-soaked rags. Guards stack kindling. The order echoes, remove uniforms. Burn them. Hesitation freezes the air. Silence grips the yard. Captain Groves repeats through a megaphone, uniforms off. Into the barrels. Now. MPs demonstrate, tossing a jacket onto the pile. Flames ignite with a whoosh. Diesel catches. Days blur into routine. Reveille at 2600. Inspections in issued khakis. Stiff collars chafing necks once proud under eagle collars. Mornings bring labor, laundry for GIs, vegetable gardens yielding tomatoes sweeter than any from the fatherland. Afternoons, re-education classes in Quonset huts. Teachers, German-American exiles, lecture democracy. Jefferson, beside ballots cast in secret. Questionnaires pile up. Did you salute the Führer willingly? Most check follower, securing Category 4 status. Minimal taint. Health checks reveal malnutrition. Red Cross parcels arrive. Chocolate bars sparking first smiles. Letters home, censored. America is clean. Food plenty. Erica Schultz pens her mother. We burn no more. We learn. By July, pregnancies surface. Wars, hasty liaisons. Army midwives assist. Infants baptized in camp chapels. Discipline holds. No escapes. Few infractions. Whispers evolve. Films repeated. Debates sharpen. A Kiel radar girl confesses, I aimed guns at your bombers. Now I see the crews. Releases trickle. Low-risk auxiliaries board ships by August. Repatriated to occupied zones. Civilian clothes fitted. A-line skirts. Blouses sans insignia. Trucks to ports. Bands play Auf Wiedersehen. But for many, freedom tastes bitter. Homes rubble. Brothers missing. Back in Germany, autumn 1945, paints occupied zones in gray. Released auxiliaries disembark at Hamburg docks, clutching discharge papers stamped Entnazifisiert. Trains rattle to shattered cities. Berlin bisected by rubble mountains, 70% of housing gone. Families reunite in basements. Some find only graves. Over 400,000 women reintegrate, barred from public jobs under Control Council Law, number 34. Denazification tribunals in Spruchkammern quiz thousands. Active Nazi? Burned books? Most classified Mitläufer, followers, fined 500 marks, freed to rebuild. Societal scars deepen. Rape by Soviet troops in the East claims 2 million, 2 million victims. Western zones offer aid, but stigma silences. Former Helferinnen hide past, seamstresses, nurses, avoiding Blitzmädel slurs. Marriages falter. Fiancés dead or re-educated in Siberia. Birth rates spike. Kriegskinder, war children, fathered in haste. Allied policies evolve. By 1946, camps empty. Butner closes, barracks razed. Re-education bears fruit. Ex-prisoners vote in 1949 elections, backing Adenauer's democracy. Yet trauma lingers. Nightmares of flames, uniforms haunting dreams. Historians note, women POWs faced less brutality than men, quicker releases averting famine. Numbers tell, 5,000 died in captivity from disease, far below male rates. Strategies shift post-war, no more gendered mobilization. NATO integrates women equally. In quiet moments, survivors like Erica tend gardens, teaching children peace. The burned cloth fertilized new roots. Ash settles on the camp yard, a gray dust carried by wind across the Atlantic and back to German soil. Those flames consumed more than wool and dye. They ignited a quiet revolution in souls once armored by propaganda. Young women, forged in the Reich's crucible, emerged bare, confronting the abyss of complicity. Helga, Erica, Greta, names etched in forgotten rosters, yet their shaken gazes mirrored millions. War stripped them of uniforms, but granted unwelcome clarity. The fragility of blind faith, the cost of borrowed glory. History whispers through the smoke. Denazification planted seeds of democracy in scarred earth. From ashes rose the Bundesrepublik, women voting, working, rebuilding without swastikas. Yet scars endure. Generations inherit silence. Nightmares of fire and wire. This ritual, repeated in camps from Rheinberg to Butner, marked warfare's pivot. Not just victory on battlefields, but triumph over the mind's dark corridors. In the end, humanity prevails when illusions burn. These women, shaken to the core, remind us, peace demands reckoning, one thread at a time.